Serious question. I see the way men in my life eat food quickly. Do you even chew? Do you taste the food? Enjoy it? Savor it? I seriously cannot understand this phenomenon. Please share your thoughts. I look forward to reading your responses. Story 1. If the food is hot, I do not want it to get cold. If the food is cold, I do not want it to get hot or melt. If the food tastes good, I want more of it. If the food does not taste good, I do not want to waste my time eating bad food. Story 2. Maybe you are a slow eater, like people who take a bite, chew for half a minute, take a sip of drink, look around, read a book, finish a college degree, invent the cure for cancer, and then take another bite. Story 3. Is it that we eat fast or that we do not mix talking and eating? I eat at a regular speed, but I am done before my wife and daughters because they talk without seeming to breathe throughout dinner. Story 4. Because if I am eating, that means I am hungry. Why would I take my time eating a bite every 5 minutes when I can finish my food and get on with my day? Also, food tastes good, and I want more of it. Story 5. Or maybe, hear me out, you ladies eat and drink slowly. Why are you talking with the same salad bunched around the fork for 10 minutes? How many bites does one fry have? Why do juice boxes and Capri Sun drinks look like gallon jugs of water when you drink them? You make value meal hamburgers look like porterhouse steaks the way you enjoy them. Are you in communion with the very spirits needed to construct each meal? Do you taste the farm where the grain grew that fed the cow you are eating? Are the ancestors themselves speaking to you in each soulful bite? If I am missing all that, sure, maybe I am not savoring my food. Story 6. A couple of things. Our mouths are much bigger with wider jaws, and humans are generally larger, so our bites are much larger, causing food to disappear more quickly. I also grew up with a brother close to my age, and we ate like starving hippos. I had to eat fast to make sure I got enough food or else it would disappear. Story 7. Eating is not enjoyable unless my mouth is full and everything feels fully satiated. If I eat slowly, I am unsatisfied the whole time. If I eat quickly, I am satisfied only for a short time. Story 8. You can eat your food quickly and still taste it. There is no need to hesitate over a meal. Get it into your stomach and move on. It is more efficient. Also, we do not talk as much when we eat. Story 9. What I have noticed is that some women take very small bites and often pause for a long time to talk. I can have a conversation while eating. I just do not stop to let my food get cold. I have observed female family members go on 2 to 3 minute tangents between bites. That is unreasonable. Story 10. If I slow down and take small bites, it feels like I don't have any food in my mouth. A small bite feels like your mouth is mostly air, and I struggle to feel like my mouth is enveloped in what the food offers. For example, if I'm taking a bite about the size of a teaspoon, I use only 2 teeth to chew it. While it is being chewed, nothing touches the tongue, and it feels like when you take a bite and everything falls off the fork, but you bite anyway. I am better able to taste the food and sense the texture if I take a solid bite that includes a bit of everything, and it feels like my mouth is full. Of course, I don't mean stuff to the point of looking like a blowfish, but the bite needs to be big enough to feel like I'm not just chewing air. Story 11. Well, after about 4 or 5 chews, the taste is not quite right, so you need another one. The guy at the other table gave me a look, so he definitely wants a race. Story 12. I cannot answer for others, but I work outside and with my hands all day. I am so hungry when I eat that I just inhale my food. Story 13. It's important to keep our food to ourselves without sharing. I'm tired of people saying, I'm not hungry, but who just want a couple of fries. If you want some, order your own. Story 14. Generally, there is a woman or a child nearby waiting for our guard to be down, so they can snatch some French fries. Story 15. I just can't eat slow even if I wanted to. If there is food and I am hungry, I will finish it as quickly as possible. Story 16. I do not know when my next meal will be. Not because I am struggling. I just do not plan that far ahead. Story 17. I think women just eat slowly as well as chat more often during meals. I consider myself a slow eater and would always out-eat my significant others. But among my friends, I am always the one they wait for to finish. Story 18. I eat slowly, but most men I know eat quickly. At least, that is how it is perceived. The reality is that men talk much less while eating compared to women, so they finish faster. I am a talker when I eat, so I usually finish last. Story 19. Who has time to chew their food 25 times for each bite? Bite a few chomps to make it swallowable, and down the throat it goes. Story 20. I think it's because for those who work every day, we are programmed to just eat to fill our stomachs and keep doing what we have to do. At least in my case, I don't really have a lunch break at work. I eat as I work and try to eat quickly before someone interrupts me. When I'm casually at a restaurant, I unintentionally begin eating fast because I'm so used to it. I eventually come back to my senses and slow down. It's not to say I don't taste or enjoy the food. I do, otherwise I wouldn't be eating it. But if I'm out doing a task, I try to prioritize the task rather than sitting and focusing on the food in my mouth. Story 21. Army training with less time spent eating may allow for more time to relax. Also, do not be the person everyone is waiting for. Experiences may vary. Story 22. I have a 30-minute lunch break. I have been conditioned to get food quickly and return to being an employee. Story 23. I think most men developed that habit from working in general labor at some point and having only 15-minute breaks. We had to learn how to eat food quickly. Story 24. The public school system and most jobs give us a half-hour total for a break. If we want time to socialize, use the bathroom, or do anything else, we have to cut into eating time. Story 25. I was in the army for 5 years, where eating quickly is required. It is a habit that never leaves you once you have done it for a significant portion of your life. Story 26. It became a habit for me. When I was young, I used to eat my food fast so I could get back to playing video games. Story 27. I eat quickly. I have friends who eat very slowly. It is different for everyone. Story 28. I only get a 15-minute break at work to eat my food. The time it takes to walk to the staff room, heat my food, and walk back to my position is about 5 minutes. Including washing my hands, I am left with 9 minutes to eat. God forbid I have to cut the food too. Story 29. 2 older brothers. If you wanted seconds, you needed to eat faster than the others. Plus, you could go back outside until it was dark after you ate. Story 30. I still chew and taste the food fully before swallowing it, so I do not really understand why you girls eat so slowly. Story 31. I used to eat slowly until I became a father. Then I started to eat quickly because my attention was always needed elsewhere. Story 32. I just got home from work and I am starving. I also want to take a shower and play with my child. I may read a book or play some video games. Eating is something that gets in the way of what I really want to do. I am happy to spend time at the table after eating to talk about things, but eating itself is just in the way. The only time I eat slowly is when I am grilling. That is because I eat here and there while serving others. Story 33. Because it causes fear in our enemies, stirs desire in our concubines, and envy in delicate boys who still use silverware as if their gluttonous hands are not good enough for holding meat to the mouth for teeth to tear. Story 34. My grandfather ate fast, my father ate fast, I eat fast, and my son eats faster than anyone I have seen except my grandfather. I think it is genetic, but also I work out a lot and sometimes you just have to get food into you. Story 35. I do not even feel like I am pushing myself to eat, and I generally finish first and well in advance of others. I will say that some foods are best enjoyed very warm, like steak. Again, I am not pushing myself intentionally, but I imagine deep down I know I will not want to eat it if it gets cold. I also do not have any siblings or history of food scarcity, so it is not like it is conditioning from any past event. Story 36. I sleep 1/3 of my entire life. Why would I waste more time on eating? I cannot escape eating, using the bathroom, drinking, or showering, so I need to make all of them efficient if I can. Eating quickly is one solution. Story 37. Became a habit working construction. You have to get the day's work done. Long breaks equal long days. Many days, you eat whatever you can fit in your mouth in 15 minutes and keep going. Fuel up and keep moving. Story 38. As a man, this is not correct. I have a tiny mouth and spend anywhere from 10 to 40 minutes eating my meal. Story 39. We have important things to do, like finding more food. I love food, flavors, cooking, spending time with my friends, and impressing a woman. I would feed you, your mother, and your father if I could. If you want to find like-minded people, spend time near a water source or a kitchen. The point is, food is important and we all need to eat. Story 40. I do not understand how women eat so slowly. Are you not actually hungry? Do you enjoy the food so little that you cannot bring yourself to eat any faster? Are you getting distracted? Is there something more important going on that you have to talk about or pay attention to? Are you so focused on the food that you have to feel every morsel in your mouth? Story 41. It's a learned habit. A lot of men develop this habit if they work in manufacturing or construction. You have to eat fast and get back to work. Story 42. I grew up with two siblings and parents who did not make enough for everyone to have seconds. Dinner was a race to finish your plate to get more. It is a habit I still have today. Story 43. Why do you eat so slowly? After you eat the first bite, you take a second, then a third. If you walked like you ate, you would take a step, stop for a while, then take another. Eating is like walking, you just do it until it is done. Do not shame me because I am efficient. Story 44. Never thought too much about it, but a meal meant to be enjoyed is a rarity, not the norm. It is a Friday or weekend night dinner. Most of the time, a meal is a task to be finished. Story 45. Food is fuel. Make sure to eat it as quickly as possible in case someone steals it from under your nose. Story 46. I learned it from my father. If I do not eat quickly, I do not get more, and my father consumes it all. This was especially the case for pizza as I was growing up. Story 47. Physique, metabolism, muscle mass, bigger bites, bigger mouth, greater chewing power, higher level of ghrelin, and appetite stimulator, some of the known reasons. Story 48. The reason I eat fast is because I want all my food to be hot or warm and taste good, just like the first bite. If I slow down, the food gets cold. Eating a room temperature steak or other food is not pleasant unless it is leftovers, and I eat those cold. Story 49. I eat fast because I have had several jobs where there was limited time to eat, so you either eat fast or you do not eat, and the habit just stuck. Story 50. I cannot speak for others, but for me, there are two main reasons. I like my food hot, and I have worked jobs for years that only gave me a 30-minute break. Story 51. I like food and tastes, but I do not care about it in the way that many women do. I eat fuel. I prefer fuel that tastes good. I am not eating for the joy of eating. I have tasks to do and hobbies. Story 52. The real question is, why do you eat so slowly? There is no set standard for this. It is just different from you. Why do you assume your way is the correct way? Story 53. Because I just cooked, which made me hungry, and now I have to do the dishes because she is not doing them anytime soon. Story 54. Some food tastes better warm. A lot of the time, the woman I am with is talking, and I am mostly listening and validating. I just have nothing else to do with my mouth at that moment. You eat too slowly. Story 55. When I was in school, we had a legal minimum of 18 minutes for lunchtime. The problem was, our lunchtime started as soon as recess ended, and we were often forced to stand in line before walking to lunch until every student was silent for 30 seconds. If someone talked or laughed, the 30 seconds started over. Then we walked across the school, stood in line for our food, found a seat, and started eating. Most days I would have about 5 minutes, sometimes less, to finish my food before being required to line up for the next class. That habit stays with you. Story 56. I had a lot of siblings. If you did not eat fast, you did not get seconds. Factor in short lunches in public school and in the workforce, and I blame that for why I eat so fast. Story 57. I taste and register that it is good. I consume it. I don't snack much, so by any regular mealtime, I am usually pretty hungry. Eating quicker leads to feeling satisfied quicker in my brain, I guess. Story 58. I have 30 minutes on a good day to get to a place where I can eat and hope I can eat quickly before something happens. Story 59. Food is just sustenance for me most of the time. At times, eating is inconvenient. I work a manual labor job where I need to consume a large amount of calories in a short time. Story 60. Because we are trained to get back to work quickly. Also, lunchtime is the only time some of us have to ourselves the entire day. We don't want to waste it eating. Eating quickly becomes a habit that affects all meals. Story 61. I have a large mouth and take big bites. While everyone else is busy talking during the meal, I just nod along and keep chewing. My food is gone before others finish talking, so my mouth is free to talk for the rest of the meal. Story 62. I grew up needing to eat quickly so I could go outside and play video games. Sometimes, while eating, I would be playing, so I had to rush in order to focus on the game. Over time, this just became a habit. Story 63. I grew up in a military family. My stepfather was abusive. He was a member of the United States Marine Corps, so I learned to eat quickly to avoid any kind of trouble. It did not help, but it is a habit still instilled in me. Story 64. My mouth is bigger than my wife's. I can fit more food and drink in it with each bite or sip. That's how I eat so much faster. Story 65. Less talk equals increased food consumption. For me, I ate faster because I was hungry. Of course, as a formality, I ate slower. Story 66. To quote the greatest philosopher of our era, one University of Michigan graduate Scott Rechsteiner, I am hungry. Story 67. Compared to others, I think it is because I never talk while eating. Other people are chatting a lot while they have a bite of food on their fork. Cannot do that. I will talk after I am done. Story 68. We generate about twice as much saliva as women, which makes it much easier to eat quickly. I was raised in a difficult, abusive household where mealtimes almost always turned into fighting. I learned to eat food quickly, even compared to other boys, just to escape. That habit has stayed with me, and I eat so fast that I often receive stares and comments. Most of the time, I am not even aware of doing it. It is just my default automatic behavior. Story 69. Short answer, I am hungry. Long answer, I am hungry, and I have always been rushed to finish food as a child, so I became used to it. Eating takes time, so I like to try to speed it up. Story 70. I am hungry and do not care about how much you are supposed to put on a fork. Besides, I do not like cold dinners, so eat it while it is still hot. Story 71. Because men do not always chat for an hour or two over meals. We eat, then talk. I have seen this countless times. If everyone is tired and quiet, the women finish at the same time the men do, and everyone feels better or goes to sleep. But if the women start talking, it instantly adds so much time between bites. Literally, any dinner with one woman or fewer takes less than an hour, even with more than 10 men once. Anytime there is more than one woman, it becomes over an hour and a half. There is nothing wrong with either way. Enjoy your food and friends or family as you see fit, but men are not usually just scarfing down their food. They just are not talking the whole time. Story 72. It is a workplace habit. 20 minutes to leave the task, wash up, heat the food, eat, use the restroom, wash up, and get back on task. Story 73. School lunch was less than 30 minutes growing up. If you happen to be the unfortunate soul at the end of the line, you maybe had 2 minutes to eat quickly. 12 years of conditioning is really hard to break when you are at the back half of an alphabetical lunch line in elementary school. Story 74. My wife often comments on how fast I eat. Honestly, I just do not think about it. I usually blame it on a previous job where I only had a 15-minute break to eat. Story 75. This is something I have talked about with women I know. I genuinely do not think we feel hunger at the same level. I eat 3 to 4 times a day, and when I am hungry, I am very hungry. Many of my male friends feel the same. Even eating an hour later than usual makes us feel lightheaded. I think the hunger we feel in 4 hours might be the equivalent of 2 days for a woman. Story 76. I've been asked those questions many times. Do you even taste or enjoy your food? The truth is, I am not exactly sure why, but eating my food slowly is a less enjoyable experience for me. I enjoy eating my food quickly and in large bites. Perhaps it could be compared to another indulgent activity like intimacy. Slow and passionate is nice, but sometimes you just want to go wild. It is a different kind of enjoyment. Story 77. I learned to eat quickly in college when I had to attend school full-time and work part-time. There was no time for breakfast or lunch, and dinner was mostly a chore I had to complete in order to finish my homework. 10 years after graduation, I have not slowed down much. Story 78. It's just the way I eat. I could arbitrarily slow myself down for no reason. But why? It would be like purposely walking slower on my way home solely because a random person said I walk fast, which I do. Story 79. Most men I know who eat like that do so because it is a learned habit due to the need to eat quickly and get back to work or complete tasks. It is also something learned in the military for the reason mentioned above. In some cases, if you do not eat fast enough, you simply do not eat at all. I would not say all men are like this, and I am sure some who have other reasons as well. Story 80. I've tried eating as slowly as the women in my life and I just can't do it. I feel hungry while I'm eating, and the food gets cold and soggy before I finish. It makes me think that you all are forcing yourselves to eat. Story 81. Food is good. Food is fuel. It depends. Sometimes I enjoy dinner, but at home after work, it's just to be done with it. I eat faster the better it tastes, so if my wife cooks and I eat the food quickly, it is a compliment. Story 82. I would bet those guys grew up with brothers and a household where if you wanted seconds, it was whoever got there first. That's why I eat so fast. Years of being conditioned like this, and no matter how I try, I just cannot shake it. Story 83. Ma'am, most of the time I forget that I am not supposed to eat that fast. I just think, oh, that tasted good. Let's taste it again. And end up finishing the meal in about 6 minutes. Story 84. I don't know if this is a men versus women thing. Some of the slowest eaters I know are men. In my case, I am a fast eater because of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. When I am hungry, food consistently activates hyperfocus, and I eat quickly before moving to the next thing. This was reinforced by a childhood of playing many sports, so meals were often more about fueling than enjoying the food. I will note that my sister, who also has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and a background in childhood sports, eats very similarly to me. Our little brother is the slow eater. Story 85. I eat fast because when I went through basic training in the military, there was not enough time to take your time. Over 8 months of eating 4 meals a day as fast as you can is a hard habit to break. Story 86. Men take bigger bites and chew with more force so the process goes faster. Think of it like this. A man is a full-size bucket excavator. It can dig big holes quickly and efficiently due to its size. A woman is more like a compact or mini excavator, the kind they use to do plumbing work in the front yard of your house or dig a small trench. Technically, both are doing the exact same thing, digging holes. But the larger size and force of the full-size excavator digs a bigger hole much faster than the mini excavator. Also, men typically eat more food than women due to being bigger. To finish meals at the same time, men need to eat faster. Story 87. Personally, I eat quickly regardless. If there is a woman around, I eat fast to minimize the chance of food being taken from my plate, even though when they were asked earlier if they were hungry, they said no. Story 88. Growing up, my parents never ate with us. My mom would resentfully heat some food for my brother and me. We ate silently while she sat in the next room, making her, "If you breathe near me wrong, I'll have the largest tantrum ever recorded" face, or sometimes placing her hand to block us from her peripheral vision. I just wanted to escape as soon as possible. I have tried to learn to be better and can do so for special events, but I always associate eating with anxiety and misery. Story 89. Because I was in the army, I was the last one in the line in formation due to my last name. I had at most 5 minutes to eat every day for 6 months during my initial training for all 3 meals. I learned to pick what I could eat quickly and eat it as fast as I could, never going back for anything. So yeah, the army. Story 90. Eat, chew, swallow. Repeat until the food is gone. Why are you taking breaks between that? Story 91. I was a retail pharmacist at a major chain for almost 10 years. 12-hour shifts with no lunch breaks. Taking 5 minutes to go to the bathroom could put you hopelessly behind for hours. So definitely no time to eat. I learned to eat food very quickly while standing up. I have not worked in that kind of environment in 10 years, but I still eat like that often. Even if I cook lunch for my children, they will sit at the kitchen island, and I will stand on the opposite side and eat mine quickly. Story 92. I have a couple of reasons for my speed of eating. The first reason started when I was about 15. I really wanted to play college football, but to do so, I needed to gain weight. In my infinite wisdom, I figured I could just eat really fast and therefore eat more food before my body realized it was full. The second reason I eat fast is because I was in the Navy on a submarine. You were only allotted about 12 minutes to eat before you had to relieve the watch, conduct maintenance, get ready for drills or sleep. I learned to eat quickly, and the habit has not died yet. Story 93. It depends on my hunger. I can enjoy and talk through a meal if I am not too hungry, but usually when I eat, I am starving. I also want to finish my meal, and it is easier to do so if I eat fast. Story 94. For me, it was because I was in the United States Marine Corps, and while in boot camp, we had to eat every meal as fast as we could. It just stuck with me. I catch myself doing it all the time and have to stop myself. Story 95. I am accused of eating very fast often. I do not feel I do. Eating is not an event or a ceremony. It is a necessity and a waste of time. There are far better things to do with my time than savor every bite of food as if it is the world's only delicacy. People are too focused on food. It is just fuel to keep going. When did eating become an activity? Story 96. Don't most wild and domesticated animals eat their meals quickly? Male or female? If you have a dog, they do not care. So why do female humans take so long and insist on eating some of my food when they said they did not want anything else? Story 97. Eating is a task to be completed, one I have to do in order to live. Nothing more, nothing less. I do not like wasting time. I would rather be doing something else that is not eating. Story 98. When I was a child, I ate very slowly, like an old lady enjoying her meal. My dad would get so upset that he would angrily scold me just because I didn't take a bite fast enough, saying he had things to do. So I learned to eat quickly. My wife gets upset with me because I can finish my food before she even finishes her sandwich. For example, I will finish my Chick-fil-A Spicy Deluxe with bacon, a large fry, large sweet tea, and a passion fruit lemonade or milkshake all before she finishes her regular spicy sandwich. She worries that it's not healthy, but I've been doing this for over 15 years. I guess it's a trauma response from my childhood. I've also noticed that I keep my arm around my plate and bounce my leg constantly, possibly related to trauma as well. Story 99. To be honest, I would eat sticks of chalk if that provided me with my daily nutritional needs. I do not care at all what it tastes like. Story 100. I ate 5 pounds of crawfish in less time than it took the women in my life to eat a 12-ounce steak. I am eating because there is food to be consumed, and my appetite has returned. Story 101. What is the minimum time required to enjoy food properly? I imagine everyone is different in that regard. I was in the Marine Corps and I learned to eat quickly out of necessity. I still eat faster than my wife, but it is not like I am trying to eat as fast as I can. I focus on eating and enjoying the food. If we are out to eat, I spend time enjoying the company and making conversation, but only one person talks at a time. I can eat and listen or eat and think before I speak, and neither interferes with my enjoyment of the food or the company. As others have also pointed out, I am not on my phone while eating either. While waiting to eat, possibly. My wife, however, is usually working on a Sudoku puzzle or scrolling Pinterest while discussing whatever project we are out to get supplies for. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder will do that. Story 102. I, a 74-year-old man, see many men using food not for enjoyment but as filler. Many men do not want to feel emotions, not even enjoyment. They will enjoy but do not admit to the emotion. When eating, they view food as filler. They know what they like and stay within those boundaries. Eating something new is not embraced but approached warily. When they eat what they like, they do not savor it. They fill up. They drink beer over wine because it is more filling. The engineer within them tries to achieve efficiency, so filling up quickly becomes the goal. I hope this helps answer your question. Story 103, lifelong factory worker. I get two 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch. With travel time too, and for my post and cooking time with 30 people vying for 5 microwaves, I usually have about 18 minutes to eat and clean up during my 30-minute lunch. The brain does not view mealtime as a leisure activity. It is a pit stop to refuel my body. Story 104. Living with siblings meant if you ate slowly, you only got one slice of pizza, one bowl of soup, or one plate of pasta because those who ate faster got more. Competitive speed eating trained you to eat quickly so you would not miss out on seconds. As a child, you do not think to just grab 2 or 3 slices or another bowl for later, so you avoid doing this unless parents said no to multiple bowls and plates to keep the sink from getting fuller. Story 105. I had only 15 minutes to prepare and eat my food from the age of 15 to 25. That eating habit stayed with me. Story 106. Childhood conditioning by parents. In my case, my father would eat quickly and leave, and my mother would yell at me to eat faster. I had to relearn to eat slowly. Story 107. When I was at ranger school, when the ranger instructors were angry at us, we never got to sit down to eat. You had to eat your meal while walking from the servers to the trash can. Whatever you did not finish went into the trash. Eating fast can be a useful skill to have. Story 108. More than half of my life has been spent in circumstances where I had to eat food as quickly as I could due to time constraints. School lunchrooms were chaotic, then I was in the military, and then I did shift work at a semiconductor plant. Do you chew? Yes. Do you taste the food? Yes. Enjoy it? Savor it? No, which is why I don't really do fine dining. It's wasted on me. I'm happy with any plentiful food that's easy to eat. Story 109. When you grow up with several brothers, you eat quickly to get enough food before the older ones eat it all. Story 110. If I eat slowly, people will wait for me or take food from my plate. I have always eaten quickly because I cannot chew food for very long. I do not like it mushy in my mouth. I think it also tastes better right off the plate rather than chewing it like gum and then swallowing it. I do not have time to eat slowly. I need to finish my food and get on with my business. I have other things to do. Story 111. No idea. Never thought about it. Down the hatch it goes. And yes, I taste it and enjoy it. Just much faster than you do. Story 112. Grew up with 6 siblings. I was the youngest, so I ate first. Mom rushed us because there were others who needed to sit and eat. Story 113. Goal-oriented. My lady wants a leisurely drive. Cool, but I need to know exactly where we are ending up so I can calculate that. Story 114. I usually eat slowly, but it is only because I make myself. I enjoy food much more when I gobble it down like an animal. Story 115. 1. I enjoy food, eating and cooking, but eating slower does not make it better. That is why it is flattering to have someone finish a meal you cooked quickly. 2. Over the years, there has always been a need to finish eating quickly because something important requires your attention afterward. Fast eating has become a habit because of this. Story 116. Pragmatism. You put food in your mouth, it goes down, and it does good for you. Eat as much and as fast as you can so you can get better faster. Story 117. I went into the United States Air Force out of high school. I got recycled a few times because I couldn't do the push-ups, so I was in basic training longer. When you get your food, you don't sit wherever you want. You sit in the order that you arrived. The rule was, when the table that sat down before you gets up to leave, you need to be next. If you weren't moving fast enough, several instructors would surround your table, yelling and banging on the table to get you moving. I feel like that's where I developed the habit of eating fast. I have not been able to shake it for 20 years. Story 118. Growing up, we used to eat quickly because as soon as you stopped, someone would ask if you were finished and wanted the leftovers. We also wanted to go back outside to play as soon as possible. Story 119. You taste the food, but the satisfaction is not in the taste, even though it is important. It is in becoming full after being hungry. Story 120. My brother eats as if the food will run away because he was in the military. If you are not done eating, tough luck, you are now. He finishes his meal while I have only taken a few bites. Story 121. I grew up not in poverty but close enough that we skipped groceries every once in a while. If dinner was good, you only had about 5 minutes to get your desired portion. Even if dinner wasn't good, you only had about 10 minutes before you got bored and wanted to leave. Of course, not finishing your plate was considered an insult to children in developing countries, so you had to finish as quickly as possible to call your friends or make sure you didn't miss your favorite television show. Train like that for 15 years prior to the formation of memories, and you tend to become like many people who eat as you described. Story 122. I think for some men it goes back to childhood. For example, let's say you are playing outside or watching a cartoon and you are called to eat. Many boys would be annoyed by this and will quickly eat the food just to get back to what they were doing. I am definitely like this. Story 123. I am a fast eater. When I eat something I like, my mind tells me to have more of it. I have had to slow down my eating due to my stomach having some problems, but I still usually finish meals before most others. There are likely mental reasons stemming from childhood, but I do not want to get into it here. In any case, it is not your business whether someone eats quickly or slowly. Mind your own plate. Making little comments about the other person's eating only annoys them. Story 124. I love food, and I love eating. I hate eating for 45 minutes. Most of the time, I have other things I want or need to do. I don't want to talk while I'm eating. I just want to get it done and then converse. Story 125. Personally, I do not talk while eating. I think it is disgusting to speak with food in your mouth, so that is not an option. Story 126. It just feels natural to me. I probably eat faster than 85% of people and I do not know why. Maybe it is instinctual. I also might be generally anxious. I do not know, but it is not a conscious decision. I have tried to consciously slow down, and I feel like it is less enjoyable and I am wasting my own time. Story 127. My 2 cents as the oldest of my siblings. I was always told never to waste food. I would usually wait until everyone else had gotten food, so I was very hungry. Honestly, I feel like watching Dragon Ball Z while growing up may have had some influence, but that is just speculation. Story 128. When I was a teenager, I traveled with my father. We ate quickly to get back to work and finish as soon as possible to return home. My habit of eating quickly comes from that experience. I believe that most men have a similar habit. Story 129. I think it is less that men eat fast and more that women eat as if they have been informed they are going to be executed after their meal. How do you all spend more than 45 minutes eating a tiny in-and-out order? Story 130. I am a man. I am always the last one eating. Not because I eat so much, but because I eat so slowly. I do not know why. However, it has caused some awkward situations with insecure women. Story 131. A force of decades worth of habit. Eat fast or skip the meal altogether and get back to work. Food is fuel. Enjoying it is not always necessary. If eating on the go, walking, working, driving will save time, then that is what will be done. I get frustrated by people who take more than 15 minutes to eat their meal. After a while, I feel like they are just playing with it and there is no time for that. Story 132. The real question is why women eat so slowly. To be serious, I just eat at my normal rate, and it happens to be faster than yours. It is not like I do it on purpose. My guess is that it is the same for most people who eat fast. Story 133. My boyfriend slowed down his eating on our first date and apparently matched his bites with mine. He did not want to finish his plate early and make me feel rushed. Now he does not hide it, and I think it is cute. It means he likes what I cook for him. Story 134. The real question is why women eat so slowly. It takes my mother a good 20 minutes to eat a small ice cream cone. Story 135. Our calorie requirements are nearly double yours, while having the same 24 hours in a day. We have to make up time. Story 136. Unfortunately, it is one of the things that has stayed with me from the military. Eat it now, taste it later. Story 137. Old habits do not die. In basic training, if you are not done eating when the sergeants are done and get up, you go hungry. When doing combat certification for a ship, you are timed to get back on station. Even during normal operation, the day only has 24 hours. If you want to get close to 8 hours of sleep per day, you have to manage your time. I have seen people pour cold soda into their hot soup to cool it down so they can drink it in one go like maniacs. You can only shut that off to some extent in normal life. Story 138. When I am eating, I eat. You all are doing many other things or something. Or maybe just looking at your food for a long time. Like put food in mouth, chew, and repeat. I do not know what is taking so long. Story 139. There are about 37 other things I could be doing that are much more interesting than chewing and swallowing. Story 140. I am a veteran. It has been 13 years since I was last in, but this habit has been hard to break. If I want to eat slowly, I need to make myself do other things while eating. Story 141. This behavior entirely depends on how many children were in the family growing up. I have a couple of friends who were only children, and they eat like women. When there is an extra pork chop, chicken breast, or slice of pizza left, the first one with a clean plate gets the extras. Even if you are not hungry, grabbing it before your little brother is absolutely necessary to show dominance. Story 142. In the Army Infantry, we were fortunate to have 2 minutes occasionally for a meal. Sometimes we were so hungry we ate random things growing in the forest or wherever. It was more for calories for me back then. But now I can eat like Joey Chestnut and not even notice. Story 143. The faster I eat at work, the more of my break I can use to close my eyes. It is basic survival when you work 12-hour shifts. Story 144. Do you even chew? Yes, Mom. I chew. I chew enough to mix the saliva with the food so it starts to break down, and I chew it long enough to avoid getting it stuck in my throat. Do you taste the food? Yes, Mom. It is a chemical process that sends signals to my brain, which receives them promptly. Enjoy it? Yes, Mom. Unless you cooked it. Sorry, I am just a better cook. Savor it? Mom, stop being weird. This is a strange way of asking if I enjoy it longer. Is this a requirement? Story 145. I have stuff to do. I work on my business 12 hours a day and have 2 young boys to raise. So most of the time food is simply fuel that I need to ingest quickly. I eat a smoothie or some yogurt, berries, and muesli for breakfast in about 5 minutes flat and generally only spend around 5 to 10 minutes at most eating a salad I do not particularly like for lunch each day. There is definitely a time and place to enjoy a good meal and savor every bite. You would not find me rushing through a delicious meal that my wife has prepared unless I am ravenously hungry. Story 146. When you have 5 minutes from the time the food hits your tray until your drill instructor is shouting, "Get out of my chow hall," you eat fast. Also, if you don't eat fast in the field, you will end up with dirt in your food or fighting off a coyote. Story 147. Dinner is not generally something I look forward to. It is something I must do when I get hungry. It happens between activities or in the middle of an activity, and I would rather get back to what I was doing. I like food, but if I want to enjoy and savor the experience, it takes a while to cook. For this reason, I usually choose something quick or easy to make that taste good. If I want to impress someone or turn it into an experience, then it becomes an activity, and I treat it as such. Breakfast and lunch literally get in the way of what I am working on during the day, so I spend as little time as possible eating them. Story 148. I think it differs from person to person. My girlfriend says that I eat so fast it is not even funny, but I enjoy the food. Then I have my best friend. He can literally take half an hour to eat 2 sandwiches. Story 149. For me, it has been ingrained to eat quickly so the next person can eat at the table. Also, the first person to finish eating can choose what to watch on television. This was true as a child, of course. Story 150. Personally, I used to work in warehouses and security where your time to eat was severely limited. You had to eat as quickly as possible to savor the little time off you had before getting back to work. Since then, I have eaten my food very quickly. I try to put something on my phone to watch or listen to so I can enjoy myself a bit more, but I do not eat any longer than I need to unless I am eating out at a restaurant. Story 151. I eat on the walk to the car during my 30-minute lunch. I then open my Monster Energy drink original, get to my car, start the air conditioning, and chain smoke 5 cigarettes in 30 minutes to make it through the next 5 hours until the next break. No, I don't taste my food. I lost all sense of smell and taste after taking the COVID-19 vaccine and catching COVID-19 4 times back to back. Story 152. If they have ever worked in food service, drink service, production, construction, emergency services, industry, or any job where breaks are scheduled by equipment, processes, systems, or coworkers, then they have learned to finish quickly in under 5 minutes. We do not like it. You do not like it. But we need training and space to learn how to become normal again. It will take a while. Story 153. I am not a food enthusiast. I eat because I need fuel for my day. For me, eating is a waste of time if it takes more than 5 to 10 minutes. Story 154. I went to Longhorn Steakhouse to grab lunch around 3:30. I ordered the combo that comes with a sirloin, shrimp, rice, and 2 sides of broccoli. The server brought the food, and it was gone by the time she came back to check on me. She asked if I was okay. Story 155. I have noticed that I eat slower than most people. It is one of the reasons I dislike eating with others, especially at restaurants. Feels weird. Story 156. It's so good. I cannot wait to have the next bite. That continues until nothing is left. Plus, who wants lukewarm food? Eat that food before it gets cold. Story 157. There are many reasons, but mainly I just really like to eat and take large bites. Eating is a very enjoyable activity. If I am not interrupted, I will fully focus on it. Story 158. When I was in the army, we had 5 minutes to eat, including dessert and returning our plates, so it became a bit of a habit. Story 159. When I try to eat slower to match the speed of people I eat with who may eat slower, it feels unnatural. I take a bite, then wait 10 seconds before taking another bite. I lose the rhythm of eating, and it is not as enjoyable. So, to answer your question, I am just really good at eating. Story 160. Food is fuel. I can take time cooking something very delicious for a couple of hours, but when it is done, I eat it in no more than 10 to 20 minutes. If I am busy or have something urgent to do, I can eat it in less than a minute just so I do not stay hungry. It depends on the situation. Story 161. I spend a lot of time eating and using the restroom. I engage in both activities quickly. If the food is special, I might try to savor it once, but typically the faster I eat, the more time I have for other things before the next meal. Story 162. I was never taught how to eat slowly and properly. I was just served and told to finish quickly or I would get bashed. I am truly grateful for the food, but not for the life skills that were skipped. I had working parents, so there was no time for kids. Later in life, anxiety took over and eating slowly was never a habit I followed. Story 163. I always ate quickly, and I tend to do everything quickly. I grew up poor, and I think the scarcity mindset plays a role. The military definitely solidified my fast eating habits. Story 164. Having a job, I used to eat slower since it caused much less discomfort. However, usually having less than an hour to eat each day trains you to eat fast, and that just becomes the norm. I still do not like it, but such is life. Story 165. I do not talk while I eat as much as anyone else. I also eat before I drink. It is not my fault that you are eating so slowly and are too distracted to keep up. Story 166. Because eating time is not a time to socialize or talk about my chores. I am eating the food in front of me. Story 167. With most hot meals, I do not like my food cooling off, so I tend to eat faster to preserve the heat. I especially like pizza blazing hot, to the point that it burns the roof of my mouth. Story 168. Growing up going to public school, if I finished quickly, I could spend the rest of the time talking. I worked as a delivery driver for years, where I could not stop and take a break. I had to finish eating while completing deliveries. Taking your time wastes time. I guess subconsciously, because the food tastes good, I want more of it right now, not over the next 20 to 30 minutes. Story 169. For me, personally, The enjoyment in eating comes only from the amount of food, not the time I spend eating it. For instance, my girlfriend and I love some random chocolate pudding. I take a big spoon and 2 minutes to eat it. She takes a small spoon and much longer to eat it. I believe I could not enjoy my food the way she eats hers. Also, if you give a small portion of really great food and I do not feel satisfied, then it is not good food, as I see eating as a means to feel satisfied, not just for enjoyment itself. Story 170. Me at dinner. So dear, how was your day? I start eating. Wife talks for 10 minutes. I haven't said a word besides, oh and ahem. I finish eating and start cleaning up. She asks, how come you eat so fast? Story 171. I do not necessarily get hungry. I could go 20 hours without eating and not realize I have not eaten since dinner yesterday. When I start eating, the hunger consumes me, and suddenly I turn into a black hole for food. Yes, I know I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Story 172. Big mouth, big appetite, big bites. I want to enjoy it while it's freshly served before it becomes cold and dry, mushy, or whatever. I have other things to do. If I have a multi-ingredient meal like fried rice with vegetables and meat, I want to get a little bit of everything instead of picking away at the broccoli, then chicken, then carrot, then rice. Also, if I eat slowly, I will become full before the meal is done. However, I know my caloric intake and have weight goals, so I don't necessarily want to eat less. Once you start becoming full, it feels awful to push on and finish the dish. I think that covers a lot of it. I still savor and enjoy my food, despite what some women seem to believe. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.